doing the jazz hands like I'm in some golden age Hollywood musical. Welcome to the MaffmanJones movie show once again. I'm your host, as always, Young Man Jenkins, and today's featured movie is Scoob! It is the latest cinematic entry in the world of Scooby Doo. We haven't had one of these since Scooby Doo Monsters Unleashed in 2004, which I saw in theaters, and it's where I kind of remember seeing, look, Batgirl from Batman and Robin. Ooh! For this entry, Warner Bros. Took the traditional animated route, which is 3D animation, per usual, and we have a new, hip mystery gang who've been on a bunch of mysteries, what seems to be like in the mid to late 2010s, but they're going to be on their biggest one yet when they're separated from each other. There is superheroes and Hanna-Barbera characters, and this is kind of a Hanna-Barbera universe beginning origin story. It's an origin story for the mystery gang too. Will families embrace this after Trolls World Tour, which just destroyed Hollywood apparently? Well, something's got to keep the kids occupied. I had no trepidations, no expectations, no nothing for Scoob! How many times can I pull that off? I've done it twice already, and you probably didn't like it the first 2 times. I went into the Scooby Doo movie with no expectations. I'm a big fan of Scooby Doo. I grew up with Scooby Doo. I grew up on that wave of straight to DVD animated movies, which started with Zombie Island, which is one of my favorites. The one with the witches that sing and they're hot and they're a band. And there's a bunch of these movies. I even like the James Gunn written Scooby Doo movies a lot. The first one is one of my favorite all-time watches when I was a kid. Me and my cousins were obsessed with it. But I also grew up with Cartoon Network and Boomerang, so I watched the old late 60s, early 70s rendition of the show all the time. So when I rented this movie for $20 and pressed play on Amazon, and I was greeted to Tupac's California Love before the movie even started, I was like, oh, this is different. This is hitting different. Should it be hitting different? It's Scooby Doo. But I was surprised at how interlocked and engaged I became with the relationship between Scooby and Shaggy in that first scene where they're kids and they fall in love with each other for the first time. And I call it love because it is love. Dog love is unconditional. The opening 15 minutes of this movie is like pure nostalgia waves that just hit you in the face. And it's kind of like, it does that Peanuts thing where it kind of mixes the animation you knew mixed with 3D animation. I'm like, this is really cool. They're doing a blend that I didn't expect from the trailers. And then it all gets thrown away when we have superheroes and Hanna-Barbera characters thrown out there. As I mentioned before, the mystery gang is totally rejuvenated and reincarnated in a hip way to try to cater to mass audiences of young kids. All that I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy the whole Simon Cowell thing that kickstarts the plot and separates the mystery gang. Why Simon Cowell? Is this Shrek 2? Which is one of the best anime movies ever, but is this 2006? But then we're introduced to Mark Wahlberg's character, Blue Falcon, and his Dino Mutt companion, and we go on this new plot that's kind of all over the place, and it's vibrant, it's wild, it's zany. We meet some other characters that you may recognize from the Hanna-Barbera universe, and then we get a whole thing that kind of coalesces at the end, and it's been there, done that. It's predictable. And it's a movie that especially if you're a father or a mother and you've watched a bunch of these movies with your kids, it's going to be the same old romp. But tell you the truth, I watched this, it ended, I was almost on the verge of tears, and I enjoyed this more than I really wanted to. More than it deserves. Yes, a chunk of it is probably nostalgia, and I can't really judge on how much of a chunk was nostalgia, but the trajectory of the plot does bring about a wave of emotions that will, if you're into Scooby Doo, probably will hit you in some shape or form. However, you can use the same critical component of the movie being what it is, and if you're not engaged by the movie as a parent, you're not going to care about this. I think kids will enjoy this because it is light, it's very fast-paced. If I had 10 families in a laboratory and I put them all in isolated rooms to watch Scoob, and no, I'm not saying that I would put families in a laboratory, that's inhumane, duh, but if I put them in isolated rooms and showed them all Scoob, I think out of those 10 families, the kids in 9 out of those 10 families would love this movie. Shout out to Jason Isaacs voicing Dick Dastardly. I think he's one of the best parts of the entire movie, and the little arc between Dick Dastardly and his dog companion, I think, is one of the biggest strengths of the movie too, which also is put in juxtaposition of Shaggy and Scooby's bond. Also, Mark Wahlberg is really good in this too, as Blue Falcon. He actually has a lot of fun with his role. And the mystery gang actors do a decent job. Amanda Seyfried, Gina Rodriguez, and Will Forte. You can't replace Matthew Lillard, though. However, Zac Efron as Fred, He's the MVP. It seems like Mr. High School Musical had the best to work with when it comes to written material. Those are my thoughts on Scoob. But now I want to know from all of you guys out there, what did you think of Scoob? Did you spend $20 to watch this at home? If you have families, if you're a mother or a father who has kids, did you guys watch it and did you really enjoy it, or did you feel like you could have watched a better movie? Of course, if you enjoyed me talking about Scoob for the past few minutes, you could like this video, you could comment down below, like I mentioned before, and you can subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that bell so you're not missing a notification from me ever again. And also follow me on all social medias at MaffmanJones everywhere. Thank you again for tuning in today. I appreciate you spending your hard-earned time with me for a little bit. Continue to stay safe and practice social distancing. And that's it. Take care. See you soon. Love y'all. Bye. Deuces.